Morning everybody, how are you? Now I must apologise now because I've got a bit of a lurgy. Everyone's getting a lurgy around here. It's cold, I've got a bit of a sniffle. And it's just a usual thing everybody gets this time of year in Manchester. Got me United hat on today. They're playing Aston Villa at 4:30. Well, yeah, Gaz the gentleman scholar, was asking about maybe we could talk about the music we liked and what we got into. So, yeah, without further ado, let's start. So, when I was about 12 or 13, I first got into Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. That was the first thing I ever liked, really. And then came the mighty Iron Maiden. Well, we even got them up. I absolutely love Iron Maiden. The first so many albums. First four albums, five albums. First 5 albums. And I was 13 when I got into them. So someone give me the record Century. Well, I think it's the second or third single. And yeah, I went and got the debut album. I've still got it upstairs on vinyl. And that was it. I was addicted. You know, Phantom of the Opera and all that. Brilliant. And then I got the Killers album. And then it went on and on. Totally loved them. So that was one of the bands I really liked. And then I used to like a band called UFO. Anybody remember them? UFO. Michael Schenker was a guitar player. He played a White Flying V. And amazing guitar player, absolutely blistering, quite melodic actually. He had this sort of scratchy sound which no one else had. And you know that song, Doctor, Doctor, please, that one. And Only You Can Rock Me, they were sort of its UFO. And he left that band and formed a band called the Michael Schenker Group. Another band I liked was Thin Lizzy. Used to love them. Saw them 1983. And then Saxon. Wheels of Steel. The Mighty Saxon. They were a bit like same era as Iron Maiden. From Barnsley. What a band. Proper heavy metal rock band, you know. New wave of British heavy metal. Because that's what all these bands came out, and like bands like AC/DC and Thin Lizzy, they were before that, and Led Zeppelin and all that. And I used to like AC/DC, seen them a few times, but the band really did it for me. Changed my life completely. If you're from Canada, you're gonna know this. You know, Rush. You know, or America. They were just gods, aren't they? Rush. This album, Moving Pictures. Is it a 6th album or something like that? Early 80s, 1980, is it? Something like that. 1980. It's got Tom Sawyer on it. It's got Limelight on it. It's got YYZ, which Gaz will tell me. This is the flight code for Toronto, YYZ. So if you've got a number plate that says YYZ on it, that's worth a bit of money because us Rush fans are right geeks and they'll buy anything like that. So, yeah, and my brother got that album and we were just obsessed. So we got this album next. Archives. And we got 2112 as well. But this album, Archives, has got the first 3 Rush albums on it. And we're just absolutely obsessed with them. Geddy Lee's screechy voice. Neil Peart's awesome drum, like almost like he's an octopus with 8 drumsticks. Amazing. Neil Peart, greatest drummer ever. The Professor. Sadly passed away about 4 years ago. Was it 5 years ago? 4 years ago, I think. And yeah, and Alex Lifeson's the guitar player. He's my hero, you know. And after that, I got into playing sort of jazz music. That was really down to listening to a track called La Vela Strangiato, which is a Rush instrumental. And there's a part there when he played at the Pink Pop Festival. He was playing with a broken finger, and he was doing this little lick, and it was all jazzy, and I thought, oh, I like that. And it was that moment I thought, I'm gonna have to learn to play jazz, because when you're old like I am now, you can sit down, and it doesn't matter what you look like. You don't have to have long hair, do you? You know, and just sit down and chill out with your archtop guitar covering your belly. So that was my view on it. Who else do I like? Eric Johnson. My mate Neil, I always remember in his car one day, he was giving me a lift, he had this cassette, he said, listen to this, he put it in, and just this blistering guitar player, Eric Johnson. He's one of the best guitar players in the world, he is. If you don't know anything about guitar, check him out. But if you've ever played that Guitar Hero game, you'll have seen him on there. Cliffs of Dover, Eric Johnson. Well, I like him. He can play lots of different styles, you see. He can play rock, he can play jazz, he can play like Chet Atkins style, he can play blues, he can play like Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix. He can play all them styles. It's brilliant. Yeah, so and the usual other bands, you know, Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, you know, All About Eve. You used to like them, they're a British sort of gothic band with a female singer. All About Eve. Yeah. Well, I was never really into Oasis or that 90s stuff. I'd gone by then. And nothing beats Rush, to be honest with you. Rush have always been the band, my favourite band. And Maiden, I've got a soft spot for early Iron Maiden. But Bob will tell you, he's in Pink Floyd for him, and Magnum. Magnum, yeah. And I used to work with Bob years ago, and in the late 80s, and you go round to his house, you know, just before we went to work, and flipping out, his parents, you know, go around to his parents' house. His parents going, he's upstairs, and all you could hear was this flipping, banging Pink Floyd, the final cut blasted out, and he sat there going, out of his head, as Bob was, off his head. But yeah, he'll tell you all about it. So there you go. I hope that answers your question, Gav.
It's been requested that we do a little video on the sort of music which influenced our lives as we were growing up in the late 70s and 80s. Me personally, I was never really into a great deal of music until I reached my teens. And I thought I'd start off today's little thing about the record that I suppose governed the direction of the type of music that I listened to. Everybody gets introduced to a certain taste of music, and it seems to plant a seed which then grows into your particular musical desires. Well, in my case, it's a bit dusty now, but the record which actually triggered my interest in music was this one. The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne. Of course, this is when you started getting the heavy rock sort of sound with the guitars, and who can indeed forget this? Hey, that sound used to send tingles down your spine when you used to sit listening to it with your headphones on. So, there you go, War of the Worlds. If you haven't got it, or you haven't heard it, the original's the best. They've done a remake of it with Liam Neeson doing the voice, but this is the original with Richard Burton, and I think his voice suits the album much better than any relay. So anyway, that planted the seed of the sort of music that I thought I'd get into, and then came the inclination to start listening to rock music, and I was round at Gizzy's house with his brother, and we were listening to this album. Rush 2112. Not their first album by any standard, but this was the first one that I heard from them, and I thought, that's bloody marvellous, that. And so I immediately rushed out and bought that particular album, and that obviously triggered my interest in Rush. In terms of the second album by Rush, which really introduced me to the scope of work that they actually produced, was this one, Exit Stage Left. I think this is quite possibly one of the best live albums ever made, because not the quality of the workmanship of the musicians is unparalleled, and it gives you a broad scope of the early stuff of Rush. Some indeed classic tracks. Of course, interest developed, and controversially, Pink Floyd came on the scene for me. Not in the form of The Wall, because we all grew up listening to Brick in the Wall and that album, because that was like, everyone knew that one in the 70s. Pink Floyd, The Wall. Remarkable album. Groundbreaking. Brilliant. People still obsess about it. Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. Not so much Animals or Atom Heart Mother, the very early stuff, but certainly that period. Me personally, my absolute devotion to Pink Floyd was cemented by this album, because this one absolutely resonated with me. Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. If you haven't heard it, get yourself on YouTube now and listen to it, because it's emotive, it's beautiful, and it is my favourite Pink Floyd album. Yes, Dark Side of the Moon, indeed a classic. Warrants every bit of praise it gets. The Wall, again, every single ounce of praise it deserves. But for my money, this is the most emotive song there is. You can feel the emotions in this. Unfortunately, it caused the biggest controversy amongst the group as well, with the split between Roger Waters and Dave Gilmour. But that's all by the by. For my money, this is the fella. This is the one. Amazing album. So that I so recommend that album to anyone who listens. But if you have a quiet moment, light up your pipe, sit quiet. Final Cut, brilliant, emotive, thoughtful, brilliant. Another one. If you remember the Terminator video, this was a tour that was being promoted. Magnum on a Storyteller's Night. Absolutely hooked me into Magnum as an early teen. Yeah, early teen. This was the album. Absolutely suckered me in. One of those rare albums where every track's a banger. Every single bloody track on it. Again, a beautifully emotive song called Les Morts Distants. Listening to the lyrics, it doesn't half make you think, bloody hell. And it's got some banging tracks on it, like Just Like an Arrow or How Far Jerusalem. And of course the title track on A Storyteller's Night. Another one, definitely worth just having a listen to on YouTube. Just tap in Storyteller's Night. And I guarantee you're in for a musical treat with that. Another one, purely because of the, I like the wordplay. Especially the early stuff. Marillion. Poetry to music. That's the best way of writing it. And, of course, it's the emotive and descriptive language used. Marvellous piece. Marvellous pieces of music. A little bit political, maybe, but still. It's meaningful. Not just a, yeah, dance to the music. No, it's thoughtful. Beautiful. Another thoughtful one. Unparalleled in many ways by its just beauty. Beautiful melodies. John Lennon, Shaved Fish. Imagine, Happy Christmas, War's Over. All that lot, whatever gets us through your night. Marvellous album. Brilliant. Many a teenage night listening to that. Rainbow. Down to Earth. Track's called In the Eyes of the World. Brilliant, brilliant. And what I particularly liked about this particular album is when I got it, Check this out. Check this out. Look at this. Woo! Clear vinyl. Collector's piece. How about that then? Again, another album. Eyes of the World. Brilliant piece. You can keep your All Night Long and all that. The popular Rainbow stuff. That one. Again, Eyes of the World. Brilliant. Excellent. Excellent piece of music. Ozzy. Ozzy the lad. Yeah, go on, Ozzy. Crazy Train. Mr. Crowley. Oh, absolutely bathing tracks. Of course, everybody, nearly everybody in the world. I bet even you have got this album somewhere. Queen's Greatest Hits. Again, absolutely banging. I went to see Queen when they did Nebworth Fair. It was a Kind of Magic tour. It was. Eventually, as it turned out, it was amongst the last ones they did because God, old Freddie pegged out not long after that, which was a great shame in the music world. But there you go, Queen. Another excellent band. Of course, then you got these lads. Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. Brilliant. That'll keep your foot tapping for a while. Giz is particularly fond of Iron Maiden. He even when we were at school, he used to go on about Iron Maiden, and when we were doing art, he'd always draw one of the album covers, you know, and all that lot. Because that used to be the thing when you were a teenage kid. You used to try and draw your favourite art covers and all that. Guaranteed to get everybody on the dance floor. Head banging like silly buggers. AC/DC, Back in Black. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Proper foot tapper. That'd get grannies rocking in the aisles, that will. And what have we got here now? And this, I just threw this one in because it's rare. It's not, well, rare. What's with soundtrack to the Battle of Britain film, right? But what made this one special is inside it you got the programme. And she even got the tickets from the premiere when they went to see it. How good's that? I had that given to me. So, have you watched the film Battle of Britain? There's the music to it. So, that's a bit more of the music that influenced Bob and Giz when we were growing up. Some of that might be to your taste, some of it might not, but because we're all grown up now and we're not tribal in our music, and ours is better than yours and all that lot, I highly recommend any one of those albums. If you just call it up on YouTube, we'll just give it a couple of minutes, and especially some of the ones like Storyteller's Night, Final Cut. Just light your pipe up, sit down, tell everyone to go out, just listen to it, and it'll carry you away. It really will. Some beautiful bits of music on that. Anyway, there we go. That's my little music video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. I hope you agreed with some of my choices. You may not. If not, say so. Always good to hear from you. Enjoy reading the comments now. We're getting some real nice comments by people. And of course, me and Giz are Centurions now. We've all got 100 subscribers plus, which is remarkable. And I'd like to thank you all, everybody, for subscribing to our channel. It's only a little fledgling channel. It's a bit of nonsense, a bit of a niche market, but thanks. It's very kind of you all. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. So take care, God bless, and enjoy your music. And I enjoy your record, and I really do.
See this stick? September the 11th, 1897. All that history. And it's still propping me up. How good's that? I love things like that. This thing is fantastic. I love it. My stick.
Interesting the war, isn't it?
My stick